I cannot believe that I have already been living in Lithuania for over a month now. It's crazy to think how quickly time has passed, how much we've packed into the last month, and how much we've fallen in love with this incredibly green but a little bit cloudy town. I want to tell you about what it's been like living in this smaller city. A lot of people live in Vilnius or Kaunas when they move to Lithuania, so I thought it would be interesting to share my experiences, what I've been loving about it, how different it is to other places that I've lived in the past, and share some of this beautiful green and lush town with you. So let's go. Hi, I'm Laura, and for the last 11 years, my boyfriend Luke and I have been living in different countries around the world. What was initially meant to be a year of travel after graduating from college quickly morphed into a lifelong love for exploring the world. Since we packed up those backpacks for the first time back in 2010, we have lived in New Zealand, Australia, South Korea, Mexico, and are now living in Lithuania. In between those settled years, we spent long periods of time traveling to over 20 different countries. And now, we're enjoying setting up a new life in a new country, very different from our last. And through these videos, I share my experiences with you. Good afternoon. This weekend, we have stuck around Utena, so I thought I would take you with us on some of our adventures. We are walking pretty much to the other side of the city, to one of the lakes, of which there are 3 in the city, so let me show you. Utena is a city in the northeastern part of Lithuania. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive north of Vilnius and about 2 hours east of Kaunas. Utena is without a doubt the greenest place I have ever lived. I am constantly in awe as I walk through the streets, along the paths, around the lakes, just how vibrantly green it is. The air is fresh and crisp. The weather is absolute chaos, or at least it has been for the last 6 weeks that we've lived here. With a sweltering hot July, a windy and rainy August so far, bursts of sunshine that lead you to believe it's safe to go for a walk, only to discover that you will without a doubt get absolutely drenched, even with an umbrella. I grew up in a small suburban town in the outskirts of New York City, where the population was roughly 30,000 people. This city has approximately 25,000 residents, and it does have a nice small town feel. I hope that doesn't offend fellow Utena residents, but it feels like a town, so I like it. By small town, I mean people in smaller towns are just nicer, aren't they? If you've ever lived in a big city, I grew up in New York. We're not known for our friendliness. I lived in Mexico City, and while of course there are kind people in every city in every part of the world, there are also a lot of people who are just trying to get by and get to work and get to see their friends, and you're in the way. Do you know what I mean? Like that big city mentality, accidentally standing on the left side of an escalator in London, you know what I mean? Like these are things that will get you scolded. Here, people are so nice. There's no huge rush to get anywhere. Maybe that's why the buses are so slow and infrequent. But our neighbors say hello to us. The broken English Lithuanian conversations have been many, especially in our building, especially with people at the grocery store. People are just friendly. They're helpful. They do what they can to assist you in things. And, the people that Luke works with that have helped us get set up here, our landlord, oh my gosh, the nicest. She brings us tomatoes from her garden. People are just genuine and friendly. And I think that comes from a place of trust. The country in general is much more trusting than other countries that I've lived in, but I think in a small city where most people have spent their whole lives here, and their grandparents know the people that are that age, and your parents know people that are that age, and everybody knows everybody's families. So with that comes a level of, I don't recognize you, I've never seen you before, and you don't look like you're from around here. And instead of that being a bad thing, instead of people ignoring us or acting in any way that they don't want us here. People have been so warm and so friendly and so helpful. So yeah, that's been just incredible. One of the things that I love about living here, and that I can't recall experiencing pretty much anywhere else I've ever lived, but in particular in the last 5 years living in Mexico City and other parts of Mexico, it's so quiet. It's so quiet. We close our windows, we leave 1 or 2 windows open at night, but we get into bed and it's silent except for our ticking clock. It's so quiet. In the mornings, I'm walking around the park. It's about 10:30. There are people walking around, but you can't hear the road. No one honks. There's really no noise pollution, and it's so magical. And although it has the feel of a small town, we still have all of the amenities of a big city. So more than half a dozen supermarkets within walking distance of where I live, all of the big chains here in Lithuania, including a Lidl. So a good place to get some bargains and some other international stuff. They have a really great sort of Asian section with noodles and curry pastes and different spices, and we can find, you know, whatever we want really in the grocery store. Lemons, what a treat for those of you that are living in Mexico. Limones reales, it's so exciting. And yeah, so we still have all of those sort of amenities, doctors, bakeries, you know, everything that you might want to purchase is here in the city. So that's been great. And just as I'm about to talk about how it's not all perfect, the sun comes out. Right, but it's not all perfect, obviously. With the city being so small, we're only really connected to major hubs around the country. There's no train station here. So the buses get you to Vilnius, they get you to Kaunas, they get you to some of the other bigger cities up north. And of course, on the way, you can stop off at the towns. There's a lot of stops in between, but the buses aren't very often. The last bus from Vilnius back to Utena is at 6:10 p.m. So if you want to head to Vilnius for a bit of fun, a little bit of dinner, you gotta stay the night. And speaking of restaurants, well, there aren't really many to speak of. I tell a lie. There is one restaurant. It's called Food Lab. Everyone goes there. It's busy all day, and the food is good and it's reasonable. You can get a burger or Thai food that is actually tasty with a beer for, you know, less than 10 euros, and that's not bad. But there's only one bar. If you want pizza or kebabs, the choices are endless. But otherwise, if you want to have a decent meal, like out at a restaurant, you have to go to Vilnius. But that's meant at least that we're cooking at home a lot more, and thanks to the fact that, well, the grocery stores are amazing. Like I mentioned, we can get all different types of food. We're eating better, we're eating healthier than we've eaten in a very long time because we're cooking everything from scratch. I even get avocados, good ones. Is it a challenge? Of course it is. I don't know how many local friends I'll be able to make. All of the other expats or English-speaking Lithuanians that I've met so far, either through different groups on Facebook or through this channel and Instagram and stuff, are all either located in Kaunas or in Vilnius. I would love to make some local friends. It would be great for a Friday night to head to the local bar. But there are always going to be sacrifices to make when you move to a new country or even in your own hometown. I'm really happy right now. I am genuinely happy. I get messages and emails from people saying, you know, it looks all fun on video and on YouTube, but how are you really? And while I wildly appreciate that sort of compassion, I am genuinely really happy. You know, we're still in the honeymoon period of living in a new country. Life is exciting and new, and the sun is out and the weather is great, and we've got a lot of exploring to do. But yeah, I foresee the idea of community being the most difficult thing. But like I said, we're well connected to other places around the country, and because of YouTube and the power of the internet, I have built a beautiful community of people who I can come and visit whenever I want. So thank you for being part of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss a video. If you have any questions about life in Lithuania, about other things that I didn't mention, about living in a small town, or about moving to a new country in general, obviously this isn't my first rodeo, as it were, and I'm looking forward to getting to know this place even better. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.